back at my favorite tree. Yeah, I was thinking about what vulnerability means. I never really thought about too much until this past year. Shame, embarrassed, humiliated are the words that I put to vulnerability. Also weak. It's such a powerful emotion that has such negative emotions attached to it, and it's completely the opposite. Within the last year, I'd spoken for this trauma center in a room full of strangers, and I had told my story, and I was absolutely terrified. I had my therapist sitting next to me, and she was afraid that I was going to bail out the back door, and God knows that I had wanted to. I remember when I was sitting in the parking lot before I walked in, a car full of bikers got out and started walking towards the place where I was going to speak, and all I thought was, God, I hope they're going to the bar and not coming to watch me. Did not want to be vulnerable at all, but room full of bikers really didn't sound any more appealing. But it was really powerful. I got up there and I told my story for the first time as I knew it, and the powerful part was watching the people in the audience react to the words that I was saying. I could see who had similar experiences by the emotions that welled up into their faces and kind of bounced back, and their mirroring faces that I had seen validated my experience. The emotion and the pain and the hurt on their faces made mine that much more real. And when I started doing these videos, I think it was kind of for the same reason. I'd gotten a lot out of the validation, but I had noticed that the people in the audience seemed to have gotten more out of it. Maybe as much, maybe less, but the reactions were very surprising. I was blown away. And I felt like it was something I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to do it. And my story is long and painful and dark, and I don't want to always be on the downer and bringing people down. I'm trying to find a way to tell my story and give it light and hope and positivity for other people. I've always stayed away from vulnerability just because, even doing the videos, I feel ashamed and embarrassed. And it's just such a painful feeling to come out of hiding. People have sent messages like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. But I'm also the guy that's okay if they'll be like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. They're like, you have an axe sticking out of your head. No, I'm okay. The worse I am, the more I retreat and isolate and don't let anybody know. And I kind of take it all on myself. And I don't know any other way to do it. It's just the way I've always done it. But coming out of hiding and sharing the experiences has been really powerful and healing. And I never want to feel ashamed or embarrassed or humiliated. Nobody does. But that's where that fine line of vulnerability is. And I have to keep pushing it. I have to keep pushing that line and going further with what I'm okay revealing and how vulnerable I'm going to allow myself to be. Because the more vulnerable I am and the more humiliated I feel with myself, the more free I'm feeling every day. And you look on social media and everybody's portraying this perfect life, and I know everybody out there is suffering in some way, shape, or form, but the more we're pretending, the less of it's a disservice we're doing to ourselves and to others. So I think over time I'm going to slowly let out my story, try not to make it miserable in the process, because it is dark and painful. But it's healing. It's healing to me, and from the messages I've got, it's healing for others. And this is the best place I've ever been in, just because there's hope. I can get where I want to go. I just have to work at it. I have to work hard at it. And the harder I work, the easier it is becoming, because it's just Not easy sitting here exposing myself, but I feel like it's what I need to do. And there's just so much. There's so much that you want to say, and there's so much you want to be, and the more you hide who you really are, I think the sadder you really are. And it's that judgment and ridicule from yourself, and the thought of putting yourself out there and having people have an easy way to judge you and talk about you and put you down. And the more vulnerable I am with myself, the less I'm seeming to worry about what others are thinking. So be fiercely vulnerable with yourself, and kind of out yourself to yourself, and all the things that you're embarrassed about and ashamed about. That's where the healing lies, going into those places and admitting to yourself the things that you don't want to admit. It's not that bad. We think it's worse than it is. And I told my story that day, and I was just, I just didn't know how people were going to react. And, I was in so much pain, I didn't care. There was just a part of me that knew I had to get it out of me. And the reaction was beyond anything I could have ever imagined. Having that big biker guy come up to me and just look at me and just go, "Man, I wish I knew you when you were younger. I would have been there for you." I was like, what kind of reaction is that? I would have never expected that. Because when we go into our own humanity, it touches people and it brings them to their humanity. And when we pretend that we're more than human and better than we are, I think others need to pretend to feel that way as well. And you don't. You just need to be you. Find out all the things you're hiding and get to them and expose them to yourself and be comfortable with them. And then the rest of the day seems to get a lot easier. All right, hope you're having a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.